All right, what's up, everyone? It is Noah B Tech. We're back here with another one, and today we're going to be talking about sexual appearance. And this is really what you should be going for if you're trying to looks max, because let's be honest, 99% of you guys out here that are even in this space of looks maxing and all that, you're probably like, you are not neurotypical, you are not a normie. The fact that you are even recognizing this and actively pursuing this, much less, I mean, dude, if you're out there hard maxing, like, you are seeking cosmetic surgery, or you are looking into peptides, steroids, your ancillaries, different stuff like the pharmacological stuff, and you're getting really autistic about it right off the bat, you should not be pursuing pretty boy status or romantic value or anything of that nature. You should be focusing on sexual appearance. And it's got the definition right here, often synonymous with sex appeal or sexual attractiveness. This refers to an individual's physical or stylistic traits that evoke sexual desire or interest in others. That is it. So, obviously, for those of you that don't know, we know that, say like cult leaders, I've actually done a little bit of studying on this. A lot of these guys, they are not like, they don't have your typical Chad or, Tyrone features. They're not, tall, super rugged looking, muscular. I don't know about their dick size. I don't know. Maybe they do have big dicks. I don't fucking know. But, these guys, they are not your stereotypical Chads, like, not even by any stretch. And, these guys, they got a lot of kids. I mean, they do. They have, like, I don't know, fucking 50 wives or something, and they got like 150 kids or something like that, and I mean, they're mogging a lot of Chads out there. I mean, a lot of legit Chads, they are straight up mogging them. So obviously, there's more to it than just, you know, being super good looking or having the traditional Chad aesthetic. I've even looked into, like, with sperm donors, because I know with them, whatever. So I know that with sperm, I was gonna think about like scrolling down, but I'll just stay here. Um, I don't know. We'll just get to something else. So I've kind of done looking on sperm donors, and if you look at the statistics, in many ways, sperm donors are like actually more in demand than your typical conventional boyfriend. I mean, there's a societal component to it. A lot of women, they just don't want a fucking man. They don't want to be with him. They don't want to deal with his stuff. Because, I mean, truth be told, a lot of guys are neurotic. A lot of guys do get emotionally attached, especially a lot of these Chad types. If anything, they're more prone to. Is it still on? Yes, okay. They are more prone to, being emotionally attached and being neurotic and all that, because, they don't really have that, I guess what you call hardness to them. They haven't had that, they're still very hopeful and all that. And I mean, it's good for them. They obviously have a place for that. But, if a lot of these guys that are like, they're not physically attractive, they kind of have to find a way to get out of that. Um, I mean, obviously, compartmentalization helps a lot. However, as far as like raw sex appeal, there is going to be physical features are very important, markers of genetic quality, markers of fertility. So if you're trying to max out your sexual appearance and sex appeal overall, I mean, I would definitely start with, trying to improve your fertility. I know it sounds cheesy as fuck, but there is a lot of credence to that. So, I would look into peptides. I mean, you could do steroids. It's going to definitely improve your appearance. improve your, your sex drive, improve your, even like your skin tone, your, like over your average body heat, all that stuff, your pheromones. However, it can impact your fertility. So, I would recommend, take Clomid, HCG, peptides. There's all kinds of stuff out there. There's even some herbal stuff out there. So just kind of look into it. As far as that goes, I mean, that's pretty important. I would say, yeah, especially your growth hormone peptides, they're very important. But overall, I would just say stay away from the pretty boy stuff. Don't try to, starve max or, be like an e-boy or like fucking, I don't know, like appeal to, I don't fucking know, like these K-pop women or whatever, trying to be like that. I mean, yeah, there's a social benefit and there's, sort of that sense of belonging and everything, but if you are in this space, you don't really have a place there. You need to get rid of that shit. Just like if anything, that shit's gonna make you more neurotic. It's gonna give you all kinds of, just emotional and psychological and spiritual baggage. And at that point, you might as well just ending up on doing some drugs that just permanently destroy your receptors, and then it's going to be really difficult for you to look smacks, and it's definitely going to impact your sexual appearance. So for those reasons, I would avoid that. Of course, as far as testosterone goes, as far as your hormonal balance goes, and how that impacts overall fertility, it also impacts your immunocompetency, your MHC. That's actually really important. I will be doing a separate video on that about your major histocompatibility complex. It's something that is widely overlooked, but it's more than just, your general immune system. There are certain aspects of your immune system that would make you more or less genetically compatible with women, particularly women that, would display signs of high fertility themselves. So, like, the waist to hip ratio. In fact, actually, I'm going to scroll down right here. So, yeah, your major histocompatibility complex is, yeah, you know, as far as body proportions go, there are going to be correlations with those. And so, if your MHC and your MHC proteins are reflective of that, it is going to help a lot, as far as your compatibility goes. So, with your major histocompatibility complex, yes, peptides can alter the way they are expressed, like the ratios that the different proteins are produced and expressed. Of course, body language, everything else. And your hormonal balance is going to play into that. It is going to affect your, your confidence, your charisma, things that you think you can fake, but you really can't. And, improving your hormonal balance is going to help you at least practice it, gain experience with it. And then I'll just go into that more. So, yeah, if we go into grooming and presentation, so style, clothing, posture, and scent heavily impact an individual's perceived sex appeal. We know how, objective Wikipedia can actually be, despite the, yeah, Wikipedia can actually be very objective despite its like so-called credibility, because it just pulls from so many different sources. And as far as your confidence, demeanor, primal signals that broadcast attractiveness, all these things play into your overall sex appeal, and they are impacted by your hormonal balance. So that is really important, guys. I would say that's going to be about it for this one. Oh, and I also wanted to add that, there is the Matthews effect and all this. I couldn't pause it, whatever. But yeah, as far as that goes, there's that, and then there's oh geez. What am I thinking of here now? There is, yeah, I think it's the Matthews effect. So, one thing leads to another, which leads to another. It has like a compounding effect. So, that's why I really suggest you just stay away from all that pretty boy shit or trying to virtue signal and trying to have romantic appeal. No matter how short you are, how, physically unattractive your baseline is, you can actually do a lot to maximize your sexual appearance more than you think. I would say much more than your romantic appeal. Because as far as romantic appeal, that just takes so many different factors into account. And at that, with that one, you're playing catch up essentially. You're playing a catch up game, and you're trying to fill in the blanks where there's like, bruh, yeah, you're just playing a fucking catch up game. And at that point, it's just like the Matthews effect in full swing. So that's about it for this one with the advice. Take care, guys. See y'all soon.